over on the Eagles side of things, the first player we get to is actually not a quarterback. It is Saquon Barkley, plus 260 over at DraftKings, plus 280 over at FanDuel. So again, a couple extra dimes over there on FanDuel if you take a look at that. I think that's correct, Mo. I look at this and it's with what he's done over the last month and a half of the season, it almost seems impossible for them to win this game without Saquon Barkley having a massive game. And so I agree with him being the favorite over Hurts here in this market.
Yeah, I feel the same. I'm still skeptical of Jalen Hurts. I mean, he's had one good playoff game, and it came against the 23rd ranked defense in DVOA, the 22nd ranked defense in EPA per play. So not ready to fold my Jalen Hurts skepticism / pessimism right now. He's also been pretty weak versus the blitz, especially in the playoffs. We've seen him look lost at times. And then the DVOA numbers have him 16th versus the blitz. Obviously, the Chiefs blitz a lot. They are 4th in blitz rate. We know what Spags is going to bring to the table there. So, yeah, I think so. Saquon's like close to 60% implied, I think, in the Eagles' wins. He has the splash plays. We know that. At the same time, the Chiefs have done a good job limiting these longer runs. They're, I think, top 5 in explosive rush plays allowed, and we kind of saw that versus the Bills. They let up some 6, 7, 8, 9-yard runs even at times versus James Cook. But aside from one 33-yarder, they really held this rushing offense in check. Historically, there have been a lot of big playoff games. This is just my anecdotal experience as a Chiefs fan. There seems to be one or two opponents every year that everybody seems to think can run over the Chiefs on paper. It never happens. So I'm a little skeptical it's going to happen, but Saquon does bring the splash plays to the table.
Yeah, kind of the MVP moments, which is why I think if I was forced to bet an Eagle, he would be the Eagle that I would look at. A.J. Brown is sitting kind of like 32-ish, 35-ish out there to 1. You can get Devontae Smith as high as what looks to be about 65 to 1 out there in the market to take it down. And then you kind of get into some defensive players. Is there a path to an A.J. Brown? I mean, we've seen him have nuclear games before. I guess so, less so with Devontae Smith, but I just don't. Maybe it's just because of this recency bias that I do have with this Eagles team, but over the last month and a half with just how good Saquon's been, how willingly they are to give him 25, 26, 27, 28 carries in a game, it's kind of hard for me to get to a receiver. That said, if you wanted to take a dart, I would still choose Brown over Devontae Smith because like kind of you were talking about, as far as explosive plays, as far as kind of MVP moments in a game and stuff, A.J. Brown, I think, brings that to the table a little bit more than Smith.
They both had some big plays the last Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical of this passing attack in general, but a lot of it depends on how the Chiefs decide to line up their corners, I think. So if Trent McDuffie, he doesn't line up in the slot very often, I don't think. So if he's on the outside, he might see more time on A.J. Brown. That said, I think he struggled a little bit more against the more physical guys at times this year. I think he's at his best versus the quicker guys who he can just kind of be a little bit physical with at the line, and then he still has the speed to stay with them. So he might be better off on Devontae Smith, but I don't know what the Chiefs are going to try to do there or how often the Eagles are going to try to line up Smith in the slot. So both of those just depend so heavily on the game plans for both teams. It's really hard to say what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I look at this, and the reason I don't want to go like too deep into this is because, again, if you look over the last decade, outside of Von Miller, and even then, his number was still probably, I don't have it in front of me, but I mean, his number with how dominant he was back then and whatever, his number was probably be the same as kind of in that.
It wasn't 60 to 1.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. I think he closed 25.
Yeah. And so we're looking at this and it's kind of like, they're going to give it to the quarterback or they're going to give it to like one of the, I mean, Edelman was only 10 to 1 that year because that offense was, I mean, there's all kinds of ways that you can try to talk yourself into 100 to 1 guy, but it just doesn't happen very often. Like, it's just not where this thing goes. And so that's kind of why we're pinching it off where we're pinching it off in this discussion.